What date did this happen?
Well, there isn't actually a date on it, but it was posted today. April 4th, 2020 is the date. Vatican watches stunned as Pope Francis drops title Vicar of Christ and assumes power as Jorge Mario Bergoglio in his own name, fulfilling John 5:43, prophecy of Antichrist. Hello. It is 7 years of the Antichrist. These people are so slow. Alright, so Archbishop Vigano says it's as if Pope Francis now views himself as becoming master of the church, free to demolish it from within without having to answer to anyone. In short, a tyrant. Goes on, Roman Catholics from deep within the Vatican are sounding the alarm bells today because Pope Francis is once again doing wacky end-time stuff. Today's story comes from an article on the Catholic site, LifeSite News, from the title Vicar of Christ in the annual Vatican yearbook, and instead has listed himself in his own name of Jorge Mario Bergoglio. LifeSite News and Vigano are rightly alarmed by this breach of long-standing Vatican protocol, but if they knew anything about Bible prophecy, they'd really be quaking in their boots. What Pope Francis did is a prophecy of Antichrist.
What's a gender for his name?
Oh, I'll have to figure it out. We did all that a long time ago. But John 5:42-43, but I know you that ye have not the love of God in you. I come in my Father's name, and you receive me not. If another shall come in his own name, him will ye receive. Now I would like to tell the world who might be tuning in for the first time that we announced Francis as the Antichrist. Formerly it was March the 28th, 2013, 5 days after he met with Pope Benedict at Castelgandolfo, and Pope Benedict XVI told him that he had been communicating with the returned, reincarnated or resurrected Lord Jesus Christ in Brian Leonard Golightly-Marshall, known as Yahweh the Father this time. So these people really are very slow. It's 7 years behind. It's been 7 years of tribulation under the Antichrist, and these people are just cluing in now. All of the Catholic world has rejected the news as well. They're all Antichrist. Francis was just the first, but all the Christian world, Catholic world, has been notified in one way or another, and still they reject. So the Roman Catholic Church is not the church that Jesus shed his blood to create. You're right. It is the demonic counterfeit. You see, Jesus was an Essene. Combined with Vatican City and the Holy See, it is actually Mystery Babylon from Revelation 17 and 18. Every pope for the last 1700 years has pretended to be the Vicar of Christ, the person in place of Christ running the Roman Church. But every pope has also retained the title of Pontifex Maximus. The early pre-Catholic Church Fathers said that the Pontifex Maximus was the kingdom of heathendom, the evil high priest of the pagan mystery religion of Rome, and they were right. Now, this is not the first time that Pope Francis has asserted authority in his own name. It happened back in 2015 when he addressed the General Assembly of the United Nations. You can see it in the video below. So I'm not going to read all of this. I'll put the link underneath. And just so here in 2020, this crazy end times year where the whole world has gone off the deep end, Pope Francis no longer needs the phony historical titles of the Roman Catholic Church. He comes now instead in his own name of Jorge Mario Bergoglio, as he prepares to fulfill the prophecies related to the Antichrist and the whore of Babylon, over which he is the king. 2020 continues to be the year of prophecy in this unbelievable end times roller coaster ride. So, look, what can we say? Not a single one of the popes has been the Vicar of Christ. That was adopted in what it was about the 11th, the 11th century by whatever pope it was then, and none of them have stood in place of Christ upon the earth. It's all a total absolute fiction on their behalf, and the world has been running by it ever since. And the head of the beast, being the Vatican, was cut off as soon as Benedict made the announcement that he had met the Christ and wrote his apostolic letter, which uploaded to the internet March the 26th, 2013. The link to the apostolic letter and its languages are in the description box below every video. So this is not news to us, we who know and have been alerting the world ever since, but it is news to this world of Catholicism that was actually redeemed by the actions of Pope Benedict. Benedict cut off the head of the beast right there and then. Why? Well, first of all, he's pure in heart. As Jesus, he said, the pure in heart shall see God. So how did Pope Benedict see God? He recognized that the Shroud of Turin was the image of Yahweh Brian Leonard Golightly-Marshall. The image of the old man left on the shroud for today's age of technology. Yah has been explaining the shroud now for almost 3 decades. So we have come along these 7 years, survived the 7 years of tribulation, and you know, we're looking at the wars throughout the Middle East and all of the suffering that has gone on throughout those nations because Francis the Antichrist cut off the already recorded announcement that Christ is back. Pope Benedict recorded it was to be released along with the showing of the Shroud of Turin toward the end of March. I think it was the 30th of March 2013. Benedict found out that Bergoglio had cancelled his pre-recording because he phoned RAI TV after we alerted him that the shroud that he organised, the showing of it, he organised, and yet he knew nothing about it. He was told, obviously, that he would be alerted when it was going to be shown, but it was a surprise to him. So when he phoned RAI TV, he became very angry, and they told him that Bergoglio had cancelled his recording, which would have been the worldwide public announcement then that the Christ is back through RAI TV. So assuming that RAI TV still have that recording, it'll be a simple thing to play it now. And Yah did not accept Benedict's resignation. He is Peter II. We all reincarnate. He is Peter. And so for the second time in history, he has announced to the world, thou art the Christ. And that was his purpose for rising to the top job as Pope over 1.2 billion Catholics. Benedict, pure in heart. And because he is pure in heart and very naive, he went along with a lot of things that was believing that the Jews were the chosen people. Well, he was soon set right on that, and then he realised, oh my God, it's the Jews. He's been surrounded by them for a very long time, had literally no way out. So he's been waiting behind the scenes there, and so now this has suddenly become world news. Well, you know, it's just a marker in time. It's today, April the 6th, 77 years. It was from Francis' conception on March 12, 1936, March 12th, Yah's name, 312. He walked out of the conclave, which convened on March 12, 2013. The next day, he was 77 years from his conception. So always the counterfeit exposes its hand. So Yah today, 77 years from his conception, April the 6th, 1943 until April the 6th, 2020. So yes, events should escalate now.
Arrest everybody in the Vatican.
Yeah, just take them all out and restore Benedict so he can go through.
There's the last Trump on the right, look. Catholic Church. Take him out.
And frantic Bill Gates spending billions, eugenicist Bill Gates at his foundation is funding construction, blah, blah, blah. This whole event 201 has been pushed.
Arrest him as well.
Oh, pushed by Bill Gates. And the insanity of it all. Absolutely, totally insane.
Execution.
However, just another marker in time, all good. But only for the good.